Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds.
Hey everybody, this is Evan and John, and you're listening to the Boomer and X Show.
All right, hey everybody, welcome to the Boomer and X Show. We're bringing you another sports short here in the month of November, in the heart of football season.
Yep, and if you hear somebody in the background playing accordion, sorry. That kid out there practicing accordion, just let you think, put you in the Louisiana mindset.
Well, we're going to make him part of the show someday.
Yeah.
So we've got, Evan, the first thing I want to hit is sort of the state of LSU football. We didn't do a show last week, so I want to hit that.
Yeah.
So
we didn't hit the Alabama.
We didn't hit the Alabama, but that's going to be a part of it. But we're going to do LSU, then we're going to do some college football talk and NFL talk. We're also going to cover this whole thing with the Missouri players' protest, what brought it about.
The players' union?
Yeah, the possible ramifications down the road. And then we're going to do a little UFC talk and Ronda Rousey, right?
Yep.
We'll close out with a mad dash.
Mm-hmm. So let's do it up. So we got the state of LSU football under Les Miles is the main thing we're focusing on. So you've made it clear that you think Les Miles is the problem in LSU, not necessarily the players or any specific player. So
yeah, and you and I have known each other for about 4 years, and we've talked a lot of football during that time. And I know for the past couple of years, when we've talked about LSU, you've heard me say that I think LSU under Les Miles is the University of Texas under Mack Brown.
Yeah, and you had to tell me who Mack Brown was. Essentially, he's a really good recruiter.
Right.
And that's about it?
Well, and that was about it. I mean, I do want to say he did win a national championship when he had Vince Young there, but there are coaches in history who have won national championships.
Because of one player?
Yeah, Vince Young.
I agree.
In fact, Gene Chizik at Auburn had a terrible record as a coach, but he had a 14-0 season and a national championship with Cam Newton there.
Yep.
So you can be a bad coach and win a national championship if you have a dominant player. But I mean,
so Les Miles, as far as his coaching, what are his flaws?
I think his flaws are an inability to adjust.
I agree.
And I also, for instance, September and to a lesser degree October, but usually you are playing inferior opponents. Mm-hmm. Schedules are usually backloaded with the toughest games toward the end, and as we've seen for a few years now, LSU, as you get into the month of November, they're losing more than they're winning, and nobody brings talent on board to a program any better than Les Miles does.
That's
Nobody
true.
does. Nick Saban brings on great talent, but the talent on the field that Les Miles has is as good as Nick Saban's and better than almost everybody he's going to go up against. And yet, he's now lost 5 games in a row to Nick Saban. And in fact, in 10 games that they've gone up against each other, he's 3-7, with one of those 3 wins being Nick Saban's very first year there in 2007, when Nick Saban even lost to ULM in 2007. So you let Miles have that one, and then over the next 9 contests, he's only got 2 wins. One of them, at least one of them in overtime, and maybe both of them in overtime, and both of them by 1 scores. So let's just say this: that Nick Saban owns Les Miles, but now Brett Bielema at Arkansas owns Les Miles,
and he made it a point to score as many points as they could. They didn't back off.
Well, and I don't think you should back off. I mean, I think it's your opponent's job to make you back off. But what concerns me in the bigger picture is that there's no way that Arkansas's talent on the roster comes close to LSU's.
And so we've got Les Miles who can get the talent on the field, but he can't teach them what they need to.
I think that's what it is. He can't, and he can't. I don't think he teaches them a whole lot once they get here. But even above that, I don't believe he schemes for opponents, and opponents scheme for him.
Explain that.
Attack a weakness. For instance, Alabama had a relative weakness on defense, and it was the secondary.
Yeah.
What do we do? Run. Run all day. Leonard Fournette all day, every day. And here's something else he's done. He has cost his player a Heisman Trophy.
He has.
By putting him in impossible situations, he has cost his player a Heisman Trophy. Now, I said all along, you don't win the Heisman in September. You don't win it in October. You do win it in November. So when everybody was trying to inscribe his name on the trophy in September, I said, hold the phone. There's plenty of football to be played. But now here we are in November, and those same people want to talk about Leonard Fournette like he's trash.
Well, so they were asking Les Miles in a post game about Fournette, why he's fallen off, and he said, "I've never seen such talented guys on the offensive line lay down like they have the last 2 games." So he's blaming it on the offensive line essentially. I'm not saying it's Fournette's fault. He when he's gaining yardage, he's earning every yard.
Well, and he had 91 yards against Arkansas,
and
he earned every one of them.
If you give him a shoulder pad that he can squeeze his shoulders through,
right,
he's gonna get through there.
Right,
and they're just not able to give him.
They're not giving him holes.
So,
and I do believe they've laid down somewhat, but
as a coach, you need to. All right, running's not working. Let's throw it. Let's spread them out and then run it some more.
And you need to give your players a scheme that they can feel confident in. And I don't think they feel confident. Now, are they going to lose out? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to lose out. In fact, they may have a players only meeting. Who knows, this week, and they may go into Oxford on Saturday and beat Ole Miss. But it
won't be because of Les Miles.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. If it happens, it won't happen because of this coaching staff.
So you told me to do this next time we talk about Alabama and LSU football. To hold up a picture of
the next time
Les Miles and Nick Saban
next year when we go into the game. And if I'm starting to analyze as how the teams are looking on the field, now I want you to just hold up a picture of the 2 coaches for me.
And you'll be like, oh, never mind.
Nick
Saban.
Nick Saban. So, and I want to add this before we go, and I know we've run over our 5 minutes on this. As I think getting rid of Miles is something I've wanted to do for probably 2 years now. I understand that he's got about a $12 million buyout, and I know that before Saban we had Mike Archer, Curly Hallman, Jerry DiNardo. We had some bad coaches, and we had
who's going to replace him?
That's it. Believe me, there are multiple answers to the question of what do you do about LSU football, and replacing Miles is just the first answer, but the replacement has to be the right one. And I haven't surveyed the landscape. I don't know who it is, but I don't believe this program will ever head in the other direction under this coaching staff.
All right, so for college we have 2 Pac-10 undefeated teams that went out. Arizona defeated Utah.
Yeah, of course Utah already had a loss.
They weren't undefeated yet, but they were in the conference. Were they undefeated?
Who beat them a couple of weeks ago?
No, because they're 5-2 in the conference. I think it was an upset on that one too.
Yeah. Both of their losses have been upsets.
Washington State beating UCLA.
Washington State beat UCLA, and Oregon also beat Stanford. So
that was a good game.
Yeah, it was a good game. So the point of this is that now the Pac-2 doesn't have
Pac-12.
The Pac-12 doesn't have a team with fewer than 2 losses in it.
Yep.
I think, in all likelihood, the Pac-12 does not get a team into the top 4 playoffs now. But
so you think the Pac-12's out of it?
I think they probably are.
I tend to agree because you still have Houston. Well, they're 10-0. Houston's 10-0. You've got Clemson 10-0 also.
Well, yeah. Now, Houston is not from a power conference.
That's true.
And I don't think they're going to make it. But Clemson,
American. I'm just looking at all the undefeated. We got North Carolina, Oklahoma State, of course.
Well, North Carolina has a loss. They lost the first game of the year to South Carolina, but
they're
perfect. They're perfect in conference
in
the ACC, and in all likelihood, they will go up. It'll be them versus Clemson in the ACC championship game. Now, Clemson is undefeated, and for my money, deserving of a number 1 ranking right now.
Clemson?
I think
I
Clemson
agree.
is.
I agree. They proved that this week. But I tell you what, we haven't talked much about Ohio State.
Yeah.
I'm liking them more and more every time I see them.
Okay, and why is that?
Because we haven't talked about them much. We haven't, but I mean they're 10-0 overall right now.
They have played better late.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still going to go with my original prediction and my original Team Harbaugh. And I'm going to say that that on rivalry weekend, which is Thanksgiving weekend, which is the best weekend in the sports calendar, by the way, in my opinion. It beats March Madness, it beats the Super Bowl, it beats everything else. But I'm going to say that Michigan beats Ohio State and knocks them from the ranks of the unbeaten.
Okay, what about Oklahoma State?
Oklahoma State,
what's their challenge?
They have two coming up. Baylor, which just lost to Oklahoma.
No, they just beat.
No,
that's
just
right.
lost to
Yeah,
Oklahoma, and which knocked them from the ranks of the
true.
unbeaten.
That's true.
And then the game with them is called Bedlam, and that's Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. That rivalry game is called Bedlam, and every rivalry game has its name.
Yeah.
Alabama, Auburn, or the Iron Bowl. Oregon State, or the Civil War.
What was the Arkansas, LSU one?
That's not a rivalry.
It's not.
And no. Well,
they
first
had
of
that
all,
big trophy
the boot. That's not
the
a
boot.
rivalry.
That's right.
But they don't even play last anymore. See, they've already played Arkansas.
Yep.
So that's Texas A&M, which goes to show you that outside of Bama, LSU doesn't have a real rival, and the whole
Florida,
the whole Bama thing is actually kind of
because Saban.
Well, it's kind of losing its edge because it's gone the same way the past 5 times.
I think the reason it is a thing is because they meet as the top 5 or 10 so many times.
They do, but when one wins 5 in a row, it starts to lose that. It starts to lose national interest.
I don't know. Every time that game comes up,
well, yeah, because
it's a huge...
because we're LSU fans.
Yeah,
but as an observer of college football in general, that game is losing its where it was because LSU can't hold up its end of the bargain. But anyway, the whole point, Bedlam. Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State.
That'll be their big challenge.
Provided they both win between now and then, and I think they only have one game each, with Oklahoma State playing Baylor. If they reach that game with Oklahoma State undefeated and Oklahoma with 1 loss, the winner of that game is going into the top 4. They will be in the top 4, and they will be in the national playoff.
They're clearly in the top of the Big 12 right now.
Yes.
And that would be the deciding factor.
It will be, because, see, the Big 12 doesn't have a championship game because it doesn't have enough teams. It's not divided into divisions.
So I think Notre Dame has their conference all wrapped up.
Well, they're an
I know.
Yeah, they're an independent. Sure. I mean, are they going to make the top 4? They may very well.
I think they might.
Evan, I wanted to bring up the Missouri football player protest thing, and I've done some reading because I wanted to chat about it sort of in a bigger picture role.
All right, well, let's lay it out what happened.
Yeah, and from what I've read, and I've tried to read multiple sources and get a feel for it, there were some campus protests and possibly even, although I don't even know that this has been verified independently, a hunger strike by someone, not a player, but someone protesting racial problems in and around the University of Missouri campus. And one thing that you and I both read in checking independently on this was a swastika that someone made on a bathroom wall in feces. Yeah. I'm not sure what kind of mindset makes someone do that, but
a crazy person.
Yeah. But the problem wasn't so much that it was done, it was allegedly that the university president wasn't doing enough about it. Now, I'm not sure what you do.
And when there's an outside occurrence where driver
off campus, a racial slur, I mean,
so you got those two that I keep seeing, those two events.
Now, I've read multiple sources.
And now, if the president, here's I guess where I stand. Did the president do all that? Then sure,
well,
resign.
Of course not.
Okay, so A, he can't control what goes on off the campus. B, what are you going to do other than clean it up? And I don't know, put a camera out in front of the outside of the bathroom to see who's going in and out?
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
I guess there has to be more than
we're seeing.
I guess what I'm asking is, how is this his fault? Why does he have to resign because of this?
That's what I'm asking too.
Because I haven't read anything that was like he, unless he's the guy doing it. He was the guy yelled whatever was yelled.
That's what I can. There has to be more than I've seen, but yet I've looked at multiple sources.
So what I've seen, you got somebody started a hunger strike, which is now in question if that even happened. The team gets word of that, and they're like, well, somebody's life is in danger. We're going to use our platform to make something happen.
Right.
Okay. 2 days later, the president resigns.
He resigns. And so since we can't tell for sure what all led up to this, let's kind of look down the road at the future. Well, and this isn't the first case of players protesting. I mean, 2 years ago, and it didn't get much nationwide publicity because it's a small school in rural North Louisiana that's really not very relevant anymore. It used to be, because it used to send players to the NFL like crazy, and that's Grambling State University. 2 years ago, they protested because of facilities terrible. Conditions terrible, having to take bus trips to games that are from North Louisiana to Kansas City and back, bus trips, because of budget cuts. Yeah. So they were protesting their circumstances.
And like you said, that didn't get much swing,
because it's Grambling.
I guess what we're getting at is so if they forfeit that game, which they would have had to,
going back to the Missouri,
if they forfeit that game, I just found this out. That's $1 million forfeiture penalty
that Missouri has to play.
That Missouri has to
play. Pay.
Okay. Yeah. So in the future, if someone gets mad at a teacher for whatever, and they're on the football team, and they can rally up all the other students.
Say you want to protest a professor,
exactly,
or maybe a commencement speech.
Is that one person's job worth $1 million for the school?
That's questions that I think are opened up by this.
Yeah.
Players aren't unionized. However, this all acting as one. This is the whole basis behind unions. We're all acting as one, and we have the strength to do so.
So you can't pay a player. The NCAA doesn't allow you
They're not
to pay.
directly paying players.
But the students now showing with this whole situation can make the school pay for stuff.
And of course, it had extra weight when the coach stood with them.
And they had this little hashtag, "We Are United."
Right,
and that was their little thing on social media, and that's what he said. We are united.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering what's the next thing that gets protested by a team, and how far does it go, and how much are the universities going to be held captive to the wishes of the football players? Because look, football is God.
And it
on a lot of campuses. It is.
It brings in a ton of money.
Well, sure it does. Sure it does.
I would say it is worth a couple of. If that happens, it's worth someone's job, and that might happen.
But no, it's not worth someone's job. Not unless the job deserves to be lost anyway.
But I don't know. I'm just thinking of the future. A campus pay $1 million for this forfeit, or sorry, dude, you got to go. That's probably going to happen. That guy's
and I think we're both saying the same thing. We've not seen the last of this.
No,
this story is not over. It may be a different subject matter on a different campus, but this story is not over.
That's true.
I agree.
So we got NFL.
Yeah, and so we're recording this on Tuesday morning after what I consider one of the biggest upsets of the season that just happened a few hours ago, and that was Houston going into Cincinnati and beating the Bengals.
The biggest upset of the season?
That's one of, yes. Tell me another one.
Green Bay just got beat by Detroit.
Okay, well, I said one of. But now here's something interesting. Houston, which when we were doing fantasy football back in August, Houston was a defense that I was excited about drafting. And
only because of J.J.
Not
Watt.
just because of J.J. Watt, but for some other factors. And they were terrible. But now they've gone 10 quarters without giving up a touchdown.
Yeah.
The Houston defense has.
I'm looking at the next 8 games with some delight.
And they've won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they are tied with Indianapolis now at 4-5 in this god-awful AFC South division.
Personally, when I hear, you got a star quarterback gets hurt, and I don't know who the replacement is, I usually don't watch that game. That's just me.
Well, speaking of backup quarterbacks, Ben Roethlisberger was a backup quarterback this week.
And he tore it up. So, yeah, that was... So
of course, on our Boomer and X Fantasy team, we have Ben.
But we didn't play him.
But we didn't play him because he wasn't starting. We played our backup, which was Brady, which is a good backup to have.
Well, yeah.
So let's just touch on our fantasy team real quick. We had a big win this week because, and again, I don't think it's usually sound reasoning to have 3 players from the same team on a fantasy team. I don't usually like it. But I didn't bat an eye at taking Roethlisberger, Martavis Bryant, and Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
And you see the numbers that they
when
they're healthy.
Yeah, if we would have played Roethlisberger over Brady, knowing that he was going to play,
right.
I mean, he killed it with only the second half, didn't he?
Well, he came in the second possession.
Second possession.
Okay. Yeah. But still, it was a very impressive performance by the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are now 6-4 and looking good for a wild card spot. However, 4 of their last 6 games are on the road, and that could be a problem.
Well, I like the fact that the Bengals just lost. That helps the Steelers in that count. But getting back to Houston real quick, Andy Dalton was all mad because J.J. Watt said we made the Red
Ryder BB gun.
Yeah, it made him look like a Red Ryder BB gun, which doesn't even make sense because isn't Red Ryder a wagon?
No, it was. It's a reference to that Christmas movie where the little kid wanted the BB gun. Okay. That's it. And here's what Andy Dalton could do. He could go out and throw a touchdown and win the game.
Yeah.
I mean, really, if you want to shut somebody up. And look, I saw the post-game interview with J.J. Watt, and he was like a kid on Christmas morning. I don't know if anybody in the NFL loves the game of football
as much as him.
As much as he does.
I like his energy for sure.
My God Almighty, he was like an 8-year-old that just got, I'm going to say a bicycle, just to show my age. I'm going to say an 8-year-old that just got a bicycle on Christmas morning instead of whatever an 8-year-olds would be crazy about now. I'm sure some sort of electronic gadget. But
so at this point right now, we have 2 undefeated teams still, right?
We have Carolina and New England. New England barely got by. They got by because the Giants cannot close the deal.
I know.
They cannot close the deal.
In that game, OBJ had the biggest
87-yard.
So that was his career long, and you told me this, the longest touchdown
against Belichick at New England. Yeah,
that's crazy. Also, Gronkowski had his career long in that game.
That was an excellent game.
Yeah.
I missed part of it because I joined you guys out for about an hour and a half or so, and then I came back. I saw the beginning of it, and I got back home and saw the end of it, and that was a great game. And the Sunday night game where Arizona went into Seattle and won impressively because they got way ahead. Seattle made a run and got it back real close, and there was our 5 minutes. But we're gonna run a little long on this. Yeah. And then with the crowd going crazy and the momentum squarely on Seattle's side, man, Carson Palmer took that team down the field and they scored and shut everybody up. And you gotta love the way Arizona's playing. You gotta love it.
I do. I have their kicker, I have their defense, and I have their quarterback in my fantasy team.
One thing I like about them is they have a lot of former LSU Tigers playing on that defense also.
Yep. On the defense, they got Tyrann Mathieu.
And Patrick Peterson, and Mentor, linebacker. So I like Arizona, and they're playing some very impressive football in the NFC. Carolina is undefeated, well on the way to winning their division, the NFC South. I still can't get behind Carolina the way I can get behind
New England?
Arizona.
Oh, okay. I agree. I like it. Like I said, I'm loving Arizona right now. They're firing on all cylinders right now, and it doesn't look like they're going to slow down unless they get a crazy injury, which they have some injury-prone guys on their team.
They do. Ellington is just always one play away from being hurt. What about the Green Bay Packers? Man, they've lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, man.
They're struggling on offense big time.
Yeah.
I think the lack of Jordy Nelson, which didn't show itself in September and October, is finally catching up to them. I really do. Yeah. Chicago Bears have won a couple of games in a row.
I like it.
Cutler has played very well since he came back from
I saw
that
a
injury.
funny play. So he's out run, he's scrambling around. He gets a first down, and he has defenders behind him. I don't know what the safeties were. I'm guessing they were coming because in the screen, he's running. He's got 4 guys behind him, and then he slides down. Like, you don't ever see that. If you got a head-on collision coming, but he takes the – I was like, come on, Cutler, get you 5 more yards and take a hit, man. But I thought that was pretty funny. I think it's ESPN. They do those best trick plays and best fake-outs and all that. And that was one of them, the pansy move of the day or something like pansy move of the weekend.
So, yeah, Cutler's playing well. Chicago's playing well. Green Bay now has lost first place in their division. They're behind the Vikings, who quietly have been working their way.
Yeah, we hadn't talked about them much.
We did mention a couple of weeks ago that we like them for wild card.
Yep.
But, man, I mean...
Well, guys start losing and they keep winning. That's how the cookie crumbles.
AFC, look, New England has won that division. Cincinnati, in spite of last night, I think they've won that division. But let me tell you, for a team that always gets knocked for not being able to win in the playoffs, I wonder if what happens last night starts to creep into the psyche. And as far as Denver goes, now they've lost a couple in a row.
Well, Peyton Manning's...
Well, he's benched for next week.
Yeah, I mean,
so, have we seen the last of him? Does he play again?
Yeah, he's going to play again, but I think he's on the same fast track as Kobe Bryant is right now. They're old, they know it, and they're getting as much out of the game as they can right now because it's over. It's over.
I think it's over, too.
Yeah. He's going to get as much playing as he can. Kobe Bryant went to his coach, and this is totally off topic, but he went to the coach and said, I want to play every game because he knows. He knows it's over. And I know Peyton Manning, he's just as much as an athlete and as
well, he's a competitor. He's certainly a competitor.
As Kobe Bryant. And I know he wants to play every game, but we both know it's the end for him. It's over.
It is. I think Peyton is too smart and has too much class to wear out his welcome the way Brett Favre did.
Do you think so?
Yes, I hope so.
Do you think he's smart enough to not show dick pics to chicks also? Like Brett Favre?
I hope so. All right.
Moving on?
Well, yeah, I mean, the NFL segment ends with dick pics. Sure, why not? So
let's get on to, I don't want to call it one of the biggest
from
things
dick
in
pics
sports.
to chick pics?
To chicks getting kicked in the neck.
There you go.
Ronda Rousey, she had her fight.
Down in Australia.
Yeah, with Holly Holmes, and she got knocked out in the second round. So, was it second round?
Yeah, it was. It was a second round knockout.
Yep. So, did you watch the fight?
I didn't watch the fight. Now, I'll say that I'm not a UFC fan.
I'm not a UFC fan enough to pay pay-per-view because every fight's pay-per-view, and I hate that.
But I mean, you can't live in today's world and not know who Ronda Rousey is.
Yeah, I mean, she's in I don't know how many movies now, and
well, the name is all over the place.
Everywhere.
I can't get on Yahoo without seeing her name or picture.
She's got Sports Illustrated after. I mean, she's just signed with Monster Energy before the fight. She's got all kind of affiliations.
So anyway, you don't have to be a fan to know who Ronda Rousey is and to know she went into this undefeated.
Yep.
She lost. It was an upset on the same level of Buster Douglas beating Mike Tyson back in the 90s. So as a fan, you tell me what you saw in the aftermath that she and or her coaches did wrong.
In the aftermath of the fight?
Well, because you didn't see the fight, so it has to be after.
Well, so I saw, first of all, I got the update ESPN. Mm-hmm. She got knocked out, and that surprised me. I did not think she was going to get knocked out, and I'm guessing everyone was surprised right there with me because didn't see that coming. Even though she was on Jimmy Fallon's show not too long ago talking about, with total respect for Holly Holmes, and she's like, now, we got a game plan. She's totally capable of kicking me in the face, and I'm not going to let that happen. And so she predicted her own fate there.
Wow.
So she got kicked in the neck, knocked her out, and here's what I noticed watching all the replays that came out. I guess she got a hot head, she got stubborn, I don't know what it was, but she ran straight at a boxer. Holly Holmes is the boxer. Ronda Rousey is the judo master.
Okay, so what's their background exactly? Just real quickly.
Judo, like I said, judo, I believe, I don't know what year, but Rousey has a judo gold medal.
So she's an Olympic gold medalist in judo. Okay. Judo.
she comes to the UFC with that background.
Okay, and home?
And no one's ready. I'll
Right,
get to home.
okay.
No one's ready for that, and so she goes on this killing spree.
Okay.
So no one's ready for that judo in the women's UFC. Holmes is a stand-up, knock-you-out boxer. And she also has her own, she's got titles left and right. You know, she's undefeated in some other boxing.
But right, and she has a boxing title. Holly
Exactly.
Holmes
Yes.
has a boxing title. So
Yes, that she held for a while.
does she still?
I don't know.
Okay.
But
Okay.
she, I'm not a huge, I guess I call myself enough USC fan to keep up with what's in the
Right,
headlines.
right, gotcha.
So we've got these two backgrounds. You know, they both had their fortes, and clearly Rousey's is get you on the ground, armbar you, because she's got 11 armbar victories.
Okay.
In the UFC, and I mean they call her the arm collector. That's one of her nicknames.
Okay.
But she couldn't get Holly on the ground, so that was one of her main problems. And like I said, she got stubborn, hot head, whatever, and she ran straight at Holly Holmes, and her face tells the story of that problem. She got wrapped. I mean, she had to get plastic surgery on her lip. But man, both of them, out of the heat of the moment, are pretty good. You know, people. Rousey's, you know, not a lot of people like her because she gets very emotional and stuff like that.
Well, I saw the post-fight interview where Holmes was very
humble.
emotional, and she was very humble, and she looked like she was on the verge of crying just from the enormity of what she had accomplished. But she seemed
huge.
She seemed very sweet and very humble.
Here's something I like about Rousey's loss. If she beat Holly Holmes, there's one person in the world that anyone wanted to see her fight, and that's that Chris Cyborg whatever Santos over in Brazil or something.
Okay.
I've seen replays of this lady's fights, and she's brutal. I mean, scary, and that's the only person she could have fought. And if she beat her, it's over. There's no one else in the world that she could fight. I think it's good she loses this fight because think of when Tiger Woods started losing his game a little bit. You know, these young bucks who their mentality, I'm already beat. Tiger Woods is on the field. I lose. That was their mentality. He's untouchable. That is some of these young bucks in the UFC's, I'm assuming, mentality against Rousey. Can't beat her. Don't even try it. Now she's been knocked down. She's got to work her way up, and she's going to have to go through some people who want to now knock her down more.
I'll say this: she'll never be the same. That's my prediction.
Mentally?
She just won't be the same. Mike Tyson never was the same after Buster Douglas beat him.
And that all comes to the head strength, which I think she has. I think she'll come back. I'm pretty sure these two will get a rematch.
I think. I think so. It cries out for it.
Hopefully not too soon because, I mean, Rousey's going on like vacation or whatever. You know, she said, I'm going away for a little while. And then she's coming back, filming a movie. And then it probably start camp for this rematch.
Okay.
Probably going to be in the summer. So, you know, you got that coming up. I think I was kind of thinking she's doing too much. She's in movie after movie. I think she was in 3 movies. You know, she's got movies, she's got swimsuit things, and all more power to her because, you know, these people go in the ring. They get kicked and kneed in the face. They get punched.
Their careers are tough and short. They are. They're hard and short.
Do as much as you can to set your future up.
Sure.
More power to her on that.
I
but
agree.
I think it might be too much, especially for a fight of this caliber.
Yeah.
You know, she probably wasn't ready. And there's all kind of controversy about her coach not teaching her the right stuff. And
Les Miles isn't her coach too, is he?
No.
Okay.
Some dude, Goku or something like that. Gokuru.
All right. Well, and again, I don't follow it closely, but you can't live in this world and not know who Ronda Rousey is. And now I know who Holly Holm is. So
yeah, same here.
The reason we did not do sports short last week was because I was in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
Attending a lecture by Neil deGrasse Tyson. And when we do our next regular non-sports episode, which I hope we're able to get to soon, that's one of the things I want to talk about. It was awesome. It was in the beautiful Sanger Theater in downtown New Orleans on Canal Street. It was a wonderful event and a wonderful evening, and I want to talk about it. Mad Dash real quick. ULM, school I used to go to when it was called NLU, fired football coach Todd Berry after a 1-9, 10 games of the season. Why?
Because you're 1-9.
But why not just finish out the year?
Oh, I don't know. But I mean, also the Saints, they just fired.
They fired
Rob Ryan.
Rob Ryan, yeah,
So
defensive
why?
coordinator, who made the last 3 quarterbacks that he coached against look like first ballot Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Eli Manning, Marcus Mariota and Kirk Cousins.
So you're saying it's okay for the Saints to do it, but not ULM?
I wasn't drawing a correlation. I was just saying, 1-9. Why not go 1-11 and then do it at the end of the year? Because you're not going to do anything anyway.
Yeah,
you're not going to do anything.
I agree. I mean, you got some organizations. It happens every year that they get rid of their head coaches and special teams. LSU needs to be one of them that does the special teams. Maybe even head coach.
Well, $12 million buyout is hard to swallow, but I think changes need to be made. Yeah.
So that's our Mad Dash ending right there. We leave you a little bit to linger on. If you want to get a hold of us, go on the boomerandxshow.com. That's our cozy little home on the internet. You can see we got some pictures and about us, and if you want to contact us, give us some topic ideas, maybe some feedback on episodes, the boomerandxshow@yahoo.com. And there's also a contact us button that you can conveniently click and do something else for us. Go on iTunes, and which you're probably listening to this on iTunes, but in reviews, give us a review. Tell us what you think, even if it's something short like cool episode. We don't. It just helps with getting more fans and stuff like that. So we'd appreciate that. And John, I'm all out of words.
I was out of words about 35 seconds ago.
All right, y'all. Well, y'all take it easy.